my mom said, oh, let's do fig, right? So I wrote an essay of why I deserve
Where's middle
I wrote an essay of why I deserve, or why I need a phone.
Okay.
And it had, it was a long essay. It was like 3-page essay. Why I need a phone.
Child. And we talked a little about your mentors and who's been mentoring
Yes.
you. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
As a kid, I went to Ethiopia, and I had never really been out on the streets speaking before, and that absolutely broke my heart. As
So you have a 5.3 GPA. That's impressive. What were your study habits?
I would say a big tip or a big thing I did that I started to learn, definitely get a lot of your homework done in school. I know school sometimes it can be seen like a playground itself, because if you have classes that you like with people that you like, you can get distracted, even if it's just one friend.
Yeah.
But trust me when I say get your work done at school.
Okay.
So at home you can focus on studying. That took me a bit of time to figure out. I would say up to 2-3 in the morning. In the first couple years, like freshman year maybe.
Yeah.
Because I didn't figure out my study habits yet. But now I've learned to finish your homework at school, study at home for your exam, study for learning the material so you know what to do. Don't just do, or what I did is I didn't just do what my teachers gave me. I would scour the internet. I would look for worksheets. For example, math class. If there was a concept I didn't really feel confident in, I would find different practice problems online from like different teachers or different websites. And I would take a bunch of practice tests. That was the biggest thing that helped. I took practice tests on each subject that I was going to be examined over or tested over. So I would...
And you said you just found them online?
I just found them online.
You just found them
or anything or anything like that.
Okay, good tip.
Yes, I definitely just searched them.
Yeah.
For example, if it was like science and we were learning about maybe marine biology or like biomes or something, I would search up my science class name, like AP Environmental Science, bio exam. And then sometimes the questions are similar because, that's just a content-based exam. So you're giving yourself practice. You're giving yourself the opportunity to get yourself into the mindset of how the test is going to be. And so that's helped me the most. And then I also paid attention in class. I know that's a very basic thing to say, but instead of just doodling or drawing or something or watching on my phone or something, put it down, just listen to the 20-minute lecture and take notes and just really pay attention, because sometimes the teachers give you very good hints about what's on the test. Sometimes they give you very good information. You just have to listen and you'll find the little Easter eggs.
So you seem very focused. How do you stay focused? I think that's a big challenge teens have nowadays, right?
Yes.
Your mom mentioned how you had a little challenge, like installing Instagram on your phone and stuff. So one of the biggest challenges that teens, any kid, even adults, old people, everyone has is like getting off their phone. So can you talk a little about that? How do you keep focused? What's your view of phone usage, social media? And also, does it impact how successful you'll be in school?
Okay, those are good questions. Those are very good questions.
Yes.
So yes, I did only recently download like social media.
Recently? Sorry, how recently?
So I'd say I said last year, so junior year.
Wow.
So I didn't have any social media until junior year.
Okay.
And the reason why one of the biggest reasons why I downloaded it is because I wanted to keep in contact with people that I wasn't going to see anymore. That was one reason I wanted to do that. And so I'd say that's probably the biggest reason why kids want to install social media like Instagram like that. And I can understand their viewpoint from that. But it's very easy to fall into the trap of the cycle of doom scrolling at 2 a.m. Because no matter how strong-willed you are or how much you say, I'm not going to like it, I've seen my own friends that didn't have social media till this year, till like maybe 3 months ago. They've already fallen into the cycle of doom scrolling and being on their phones. And so it does definitely impact your success. I've seen a very big difference in my attention span since I downloaded social media. And that's something that I'm going to like probably either cut off or, you know, very like strictly like restrict it at college, because whether we like to admit it or not, it does, none of our attention span does decrease it.
Yes.
And me, myself, I didn't really have the best sleep schedule, just because me naturally, I like to stay up in the like late at night, whether it's for studying or like, you know, I'm just busy doing something because that's where I get my burst of energy. But then during the day, I feel tired. And so whenever I feel tired, I find myself just laying down, like, let me just scroll. You know, I'm just too tired to do anything else, so I'll just like scroll. So it's a vicious cycle, and you have to like be strong-willed to cut off.
Yeah.
But if you do have social media and you choose to keep it, and you want to do well in school, you have to realize that your time that God has given you, imagine like each hour that you have as like a marble of your time. And each jar is where you decide to put each marble of your life, of each hour, like the marbles, the hours in your life, and then you place it into where you want to put it. Do you want to put it into what betters you academically, spiritually, spending time with Jesus, or do you want it to be put into a place that won't help you at all, that actually hurts you?
That actually hurts you. Because you mentioned doom scrolling.
Yes.
It's called doom scrolling because most of the time we start feeling bad about ourselves, right? Looking at images of people photoshopped and all that. Yes.
That's a very big thing. Comparison is a big joy. And you have to realize people post the best versions of themselves.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to realize this isn't real. And even though like this person, they're beautiful, obviously, that doesn't mean you're any less beautiful. Like, you know, they could be a root, like a rose or something, like a rose, but you're, you know, a daisy, you're just as beautiful, you know? Yeah. It's just a different type of beauty. It's a different type of success that you have. Yeah. So don't compare. It's the thief of joy. Makes you less confident in who you are, less secure about yourself.
And keep away from social media as much as possible. Because if you are scrolling, it's so hard not to compare. Even us as adults, right? So yes, okay. So was it your parents' decision not to allow you to download social media, or was it yours initially?
It was my parents for sure. And since they installed that rule, it was in my mind like I don't really need social media. Okay, you know. So they were very strict about it. They were like, no social media, no Snapchat, no TikTok, no Instagram. And so they were very like strict about screen time, which is very good. So I didn't really care much for social media. I didn't really want it. Until, you know, I got to high school, junior year, and I'm like, I want to like keep in touch with people and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely my mom and my dad for sure.
Okay. When did they give you a phone?
Oh, they gave me a phone. There's a story.
There's a story behind that. Okay.
They gave me a phone Christmas of my 6th grade year. But the only reason why they gave me a phone was for communication purposes. Okay. And for academic reasons.
Okay. Was it a flip phone?
It wasn't a flip phone. It was better than that. It was a good phone. It was a good phone. Okay. But they weren't going to give it to me, but I kept nagging and nagging. But the thing is, I got strategic about it. So I wrote an essay of why I deserve a phone.
Where's the
I wrote an essay of why I deserve, or why I need a phone. Okay. And it had, it was a long essay. It was like 3-page essay. Why I need a phone. My reasons were, since dad picks me up from school, I need to communicate what time, if I have tutoring. He doesn't know if I have tutoring. He doesn't know if I need to stay after school. Also, I need a phone to take pictures of assignments, of homework that my teachers write on the board and things like that.
Academic reasons, right?
Yes, things like that. And I was like, yes, for communication, academic reasons. And I promise I'll be responsible with this, no social media. There was also conditions. I had an app that restricted how long I could be on YouTube or how long I could be on Safari. So it's not like, I wasn't like, message, also it was like, I think for messages as well. I couldn't just message or like, scroll or like search things up on my, like whenever I wanted to. There was a bedtime, there was a limit, but they gave me a phone that early just for like, you know, communication and academic things, but.
And for the essay, maybe?
I think they felt bad because
So one thing that also wastes a lot of time for teens is even if they're not on social media, they have these many group texts. Right? Yes. Everybody's texting each other in the middle of the night and all that. Not that we advise that phones should go to the bedroom with kids, because I have a parenting video about that too, but Did you have that kind of a situation? Were you in group chats?
So my parents also agreed with that. No phones in the bedroom.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to sleep with our phones in the bedroom. But I didn't really have a group chat kind of situation. At least middle school, high school even. To be fair, group chats, I think a lot of them were on social media for sure.
Okay. So you didn't have social media.
But if there were group chats or people texting up late, I wasn't even allowed to bring my phone to my room. So I couldn't engage in that kind of stuff. If somebody texted me at like 11 p.m. or something, they would have to wait till the next morning for me to get back to them.
Okay.
So
where was your phone?
It would be downstairs with my parents.
Okay.
In their bedroom. And then in the morning when I go to school, I take it.
Yeah. Tell us a little about grandma.
Grandma. Okay. My grandma, I love her so much. She is, she just came back from Ethiopia to see my graduation. She's been a very big part of my life. As a kid, you know, my parents had to go to work because, you know, it's unfair of them to have to, you know, stay. And it's really hard, you know, to raise a child. I never realized it till now, but, you know, you have to first, you know, go through the process of giving birth, raising the little newborn, and then you have to watch them, babysit them for the first few years of their life. And then even after babysitting, you have to pick them up from pre-K, from kindergarten, and that doesn't really work with your schedule. And so my grandma, bless her so much, God bless her, she was able to help my parents by babysitting me, by being there for us and helping raise us. And that's really good because we didn't have to really just hire some random babysitter off of like, you know, a website, like an app or something, because some people have to do that and that's their only option, which is unfortunate. But my grandma has helped me in learning Amharic, which is such a big thing. I can understand it. And the reason, I feel like the only reason why I can't speak Amharic well now is because she was gone for like 3 years and she's my like really like basically my teacher now. So now that she's back, I'm hoping that I'm getting back up on my feet with that. But she's definitely, I love her. She's the second mom to me for sure. And you know, I know she spoils me, which is really nice. She's a very sweet person. I know that she helped raise us, right? And in Christ and in Jesus. And I'm very grateful for her. So, yeah. I'm very grateful for the help that she's given us. And I'm very close. I'd say I'm very close to her. I'm very grateful that I can be close to my grandmother like that. Because not many people have the privilege of that. Especially with people whose families in Ethiopia. Because it's hard for her to travel to work out like that. So I'm very grateful I can see her so much. And that she has the ability to move back and forth and to see us. And that she takes the time to do that, which isn't easy because it's really a completely different environment that she's coming to from Ethiopia. And she's going back and forth just for her children, her grandchildren. So
So they say it takes a village to raise a child. And we talked a little about your mentor and who's been mentoring you. Can you tell us a little bit more?
I don't know, I got choked. I just start getting emotional. Normally እንደዚህ አይደለሁም ግን እንደው አንድ ነገር ተናገር ነይ እስቲ እዚህ ጋር አንድ ነገር ተናገር ልባል እንደ 40 ሰዓት ኖርማሊ እንደሚሰራ ሰው ከዛ ፉል ታይም ሃዝባንድ ፉል ታይም ፋዘር ፉል ታይም ሚኒስተር እንደሆነ ሰው አንድ ነገር ያስቀጥለኛል ምንድነው የሚያስቀጥለኝ ብላችሁ ብትጠይቁኝ so it's supposed to be every Saturday from 11 በኔ ሰዓት 11 በእናንተ ሰዓት 10 እስከ 12 ድረስ is just 1 hour ነው that I have to spend time with her.
More about him?
Yes, of course. Bayan, he is definitely my mentor, especially spiritually. He's like my father, yes.
Okay.
So he's helped me navigate through so many different times in my spiritual walk with Christ. And we would call every Saturday. He would make time for me every Saturday for an hour at 10 in the morning. It was for him, it was 11 in the morning. And then right after we were done calling, he'd go straight to another prayer. So he definitely sacrificed a lot of time to help mentor me. And so that's a part of the village. It takes a village to raise a child. He definitely helped me in my spiritual walk with Christ. Anytime I had a question, I would just, call him, ask, I don't understand what this verse means. I don't understand what to do with this situation in my life. I need to pray with you. things like that. He would pray for me, and he still does.
Yeah.
And he was able to attend my graduation recently, so I'm very grateful for that. But he's been there for me since I was, a younger teenager, and I met him in the women's ministry preaching. He was preaching for the women's ministry service. And so he's helped me just grow and mature spiritually, as a spiritual baby. You drink milk, and then as you grow, you start eating like the meat and everything. He was there to help me, take my steps and like my first steps, things like that. And he's taught me so many things about life. He was the one that helped me navigate social media, things like that. And so I'm forever, grateful to him. And I hope to for sure keep him in my life, especially because I'm going up north. So I'm very grateful that we have that community, not just here in Dallas, but we're all spread across the country, and that we can rely on each other.
Would you say your parents are traditional Habesha parents?
Okay, they are, I would say that they're traditional, but in the sense that they definitely, they keep the culture. They keep the culture alive. Like we have Habesha food. We celebrate Habesha holidays. We speak Amharic at home.
Oh, okay.
Like, they speak Amharic to us. We try our best to answer back in Amharic. But they're also, I feel like sometimes when we say Habesha, parents to kids, they think of like a strict figure.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. Because that's the traditional Habesha style of parenting, more fear-based.
Yes.
It's fear-based. They love you, but, they fear that their kids are going to mess up or, go out and do something bad. And that's why they're so strict.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you say they were strict raising you?
So I would, honestly, me personally, I wouldn't say they were strict.
Okay.
I think they had a very good approach in how to raise kids, because they understood that if you were strict, you would raise, sneaky kids. You would raise kids that didn't talk to you, or kids that would disrespect you or disobey you. And so they, for example, academically, they never forced us to take the hardest classes. They never forced us to get all A's. They've never been disappointed in a B or a C that we bring home, because they always tell us, try your best, and that's all we care about. And so that mentality helped us to only want to push ourselves, but we didn't have pressure from our parents. It was only like love and support. And to be a doctor, it's not pushed on my parents. It was all from my speech.
Yes, coming from an Habesha.
Yes. They'd be happy with me being, a different, part of a different career.
Community college. Not that community college is anything bad.
No,
anything was open.
Of course, yeah. I'm pretty sure I wanted to go to community college my 8th and 9th grade year. I was determined to go to community college for 2 years and then transfer. And they were completely supportive of it. And so they're very supportive. They're not strict in that sense. Also, they're very open. I can talk to them about anything. I feel like I know some parents aren't supposed to be like your friends, but I do come to them, talk to them about things, especially if I have trouble with friends or things like that, trouble at school. I let them know and I tell them when we talk about it. So they're not strict and I fear them. There's definitely respect. But we don't run based off of fear. So that's good.
That is amazing. So you have a full ride to Cornell University. How do you feel about that, and what are you most excited about?
I feel very grateful to have to be able to go to a college and to have my finances, cover for it, whether it's financial aid or outside scholarships. I'm very grateful for that, and it's unreal. I never thought that an Ivy League, I would go to an Ivy League. My heart was set on staying in Texas. But God, God knows the plans he has for you. I never thought I'd go miles away. But I know it's a very good opportunity, so I'm very grateful for it. And I'm very excited.
You're excited?
I'm so excited to see how I can, accomplish, how I can work harder at college and see what more that I'm capable of doing. And so that's a really exciting thought. To see what
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
You kind of mentioned it, but can you tell us why you chose to study medicine?
Of course. So, as a kid, I think I always had a heart for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to work with people for sure. Face-to-face interactions. For example, as a kid, I went to Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never really been out on the streets before, right? And we were walking down the streets and I saw a family, a mom and her son, and I think a little tiny baby. And I didn't understand why they had their stuff outside on the street and they were sitting there. And why why the kid kind of looked a little bit sick and why they looked a little skinny, things like that, malnourished.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand any of that. Mm-hmm. And so I asked my mom, I asked my dad, I asked my family, what's wrong? Why aren't they at home? Why aren't they going to eat? They look tired. Mm-hmm. And they're like, they don't really have anywhere to go. Mm-hmm. And that absolutely broke my heart as a little kid, as a little 6-year-old, maybe, I think, something like that. And so I think starting in that kind of time period, I was like, I have to help people. Mm-hmm. I have to help, especially kids. My heart broke for people like my age. I was like, I don't want my friends to go through something. And so I wanted to, my goal as a kid, whenever I first decided to be a kid doctor, that's why I called it. I called it a kid doctor. I wanted to travel to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I still do. I want to travel to Ethiopia. I want to help the kids there and be a doctor there. And whether that's setting up a clinic and building one, or if that's giving resources like vaccines and things like that, I want to help kids because, they're the next generation. They're the ones that grow up and become the next adults. And then they're the ones running, the governments in the world. So they're very important and they're just so adorable and so amazing. I love working with the kids, but it's not just working with the kids. If you're a pediatrician, you're also working with the parents.
Yeah.
And so that's a very big thing that you have to also, know going into pediatrics, because you're not just talking to the kid. Mostly you're actually talking to the parents. But these parents are sometimes first-time parents. They don't know what they're doing. So you have to be able to help them through it as well.
Do you have a funny story about your family or something that happened that was funny when you were growing up?
I do.
Okay.
Or not, it's funny, but just kind of entertaining. Cause I think a lot of Habashas relate to this.
Will relate? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a kid, my mom especially would always try to, and she did, I would always do this against my will, but kebe, she would always put she would put kebe on my hair, and I didn't understand as a kid what it was. I just knew that it smelled not that
really bad.
Not
actually on your hair, right?
Yeah. And then also, it was a weekly thing. It was every week. It wasn't just sometimes. But we had a routine. It was every week. And then that was the one thing I did not want to do. I dreaded Saturdays sometimes because of
and then it would drip, right?
It would, yes, it would drip.
Yeah.
And so things like that, that was one thing I really don't want to revisit.
That's a unique Abasha thing.
Yes, absolutely.
No other culture probably ever does that.
You
have another story? You can say what? You can say.
So we went, as a kid, we tried we tried so much to make my hair grow.
Okay.
Because I have very thin hair.
Yeah.
And my entire family, we have normally thick hair.
Okay.
But my mom and I have very thin hair. She had actually very thick hair as a kid. But I grew up with thin hair.
Yeah.
And so we would do everything. We would do treatments, things like that. And finally, my mom said, "Oh, let's do fig, right?" Fig. What is that?
Is that Amharic?
I don't know what it is. She called it like that. Yeah. And that's what I started calling it. And so she told me that whenever you do fig, because she was trying to explain it. She was like, it makes your hair go back thicker and very full.
Okay.
And so me, of course, I want that, right? I want to have my hair thick and full. And so I was like, one day I was like, Mom, can we please do thick? I want my hair to be full. I was young. I was maybe 10 or like 9.
Yeah.
I was small, and so I was like, can we do thick? I didn't know it was shaving.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she explained that it was shaving.
She just told you there's a thing called thick.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she told me, okay, like sit down in this chair, and then we'll do it. And we were focusing on like this part of my hair
front. Okay.
And so she was like, okay, we'll only do fig over here.
Okay.
And then so I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then I sit down in the chair, and she takes out a little like a razor blade. And I don't know what it is, so I'm just like, okay, that's fine. And then 5 minutes go by, and she's like, okay, all done.
All done.
Then I get up, I go to the mirror.
All her hair's gone. She did not explain that to you?
There's no hair.
She didn't explain that.
She didn't explain.
Oh my goodness. And you have to go to school too.
I have to go to school. I wore a headband for the next 2 years of middle school.
2 years? Oh my.
I have so many pictures of me in headbands where I would do a ponytail that tied back here. I could never do a up like hair bun like this right now. It was like, it went back to like here.
It wasn't back. It wasn't.
She doesn't like talking about it because
all the time she had to email.
It's funny now. I like it.
Yes.
Because as a baby, it's common.
Yeah.
But I feel like once you get older, maybe it's not as common. You shouldn't really do. But as a baby, you shave the whole head, like you make the girl bald so that it can come back thicker. And I think it does work because the friends I have that do that, their hair is much thicker and much longer. Yeah. So it just didn't work this time.
It didn't work.
I don't think so. No. I don't know what happened. I don't think it worked. But yeah.
Okay. So honey, many teens, especially Ethiopian girls and Eritrean girls, are now looking up to you as a role model. What would you say to a girl who feels invisible, average, or not good enough?
Those are very like good questions because I think everyone definitely goes through that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is it's so easy to talk negatively about yourself that it's become so normal. And I think I always say this, the tongue has power of life and death in it. And so if you're telling yourself that you're average, if you're telling yourself that you're dumb, or that you're not pretty, that you're not beautiful, then you're speaking these things over yourself. And so everyone is created in God's image. Everyone is beautiful. Just because maybe you think you're average, maybe physically wise, because you don't fit the beauty standards of this society, that doesn't mean that you're not beautiful.
Yeah.
That means you're not conventionally, you don't match the convention attractiveness of the society. But to be honest, who wants to fit that? Because that's, you're trying to look like somebody else when you're your own person. You're not an average person, and you shouldn't think of yourself as an average person because God loves you and you have a relationship with God. God created you.
Yeah.
He was thinking of you from the beginning. If you're calling, God's creation average, then that's how God intended for you to be. And you're not dumb. There's things that you can work towards. You can study, you can put more time and effort into your academics. But speaking negatively over yourself, it doesn't do anything but hurt yourself more. It's okay to not be happy with where you're at and want to self-improve. That's completely fine. I encourage it. I work on yourself, work out, make sure that you're in the best shape of your life. Make sure that you're eating right and that you're studying. But thinking that you're not better than thinking that you're not good enough or that somebody else is better than you, that's going to make your perspective on life be miserable. And you don't get a second chance at life. You live life once. And is that really how you should live your life? Thinking that you're average when you are exactly who God created you to be. No different. You know, you can always work towards bettering yourself, but you're perfect how you are. That's why Jesus says, come as you are.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're wanting to work on yourself, still work on contentment. Still work on being happy with who you are, what you see in the mirror, who you see yourself as. If you do see something dark inside of you, you can work towards that, fixing it. But self-degrading yourself isn't, you know, the answer. And it took me a while to figure that out too. I think everyone goes through this. But it's a very big lesson that you have to be willing to learn about yourself and change for the better with your mindset.
That's deep. What should a teenager, more specifically somebody in high school, be focusing on? And what should they not be focusing on? What's your advice to a teenage girl or boy who really wants to be where you are today? What should they focus on? What should they not focus on? I know we talked about social media and phone and all that, but if you can just sum it up in a few sentences.
I'd say focus on school for sure.
Okay.
Even if it takes hours, put that time in to get the highest score you can on that one test. Each test and each assignment counts.
Okay.
And spiritual life. Focus on spiritual life.
Okay.
Whether it's 30-minute devotional a day or even 15 minutes. You need to feed yourself spiritually.
Yeah.
I'd say focus on having a balance.
Yeah.
Whether that's spending time with family, even though you're really busy, spend time with family. Make sure that you're keeping those relationships with your family and your loved ones. You can go out with friends, have fun with friends, but minimize it.
Minimize it. Okay.
Me personally, I didn't go out with friends maybe at all freshman, sophomore year. That was mainly because of like COVID and, you know, not really branching out much.
Okay.
But even junior year and senior year, you have to learn to say no to some events that are happening because you know the limit for yourself and you know that it wouldn't help you.
Yeah.
Like if you think you should study instead of go out to eat with a group of friends.
Yeah.
Put in the time to study. There will be another opportunity for you to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
I'd say don't again waste time on your phone. Don't procrastinate. That's a very big thing. Just get it done. It's not going to go away if you just stare at it.
Yeah.
So don't procrastinate for sure.
Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to share? Do you have anything you'd like to say to the parents?
The parents that are raising these
Abisha kids, the Abisha parents.
First, I'd like to say like an encouragement. I know it's hard to raise kids, so don't be too hard on yourself, first off, because it's your first time at life as well. And, you know, you're doing a great job, so don't be too hard on yourself. But just some words of advice coming from a teenager and a child. Like my mom's, we talked about this earlier in Amharic, the raising your voice thing. I'm very big about that. Raising your voice, you know, I don't believe helps you get your point across. Because whether you say it in a confident tone, you don't have to like say it quietly, like, oh, you should like not do that. But you can say it in a very like, in a voice that you can be calm and mature in how you speak. Because I'll hear you just the same if you're speaking at a calm voice than when you're yelling. In fact, we're not really focusing on the words you're saying when you're yelling. We're just focusing on the tone and how you're saying it and how it's making us feel. because then we don't take it to our hearts. We're just like, oh, they just want to yell at us, right? And having a conversation is really good. Even if the kid is in the wrong, of course. Talking about why they did what they did, why they're acting how they're acting. Because sometimes as a teenager, it's really hard to even know why you're acting out like how you are. And so being there for them, talking through it with them is very important. Because every teenager, I guarantee you, goes through a period in their lives where they think nobody is there for them and nobody understands how they feel and nobody cares for them. And so just talking to them and saying, hey, I'm there for you. Even though it seems like I'm strict and I'm trying to like, you know, or like I might be yelling at you, I'm sorry. But, you know, I'm getting frustrated with how you're acting, but I can see that something's bothering you. Do you want to talk about it? And even if they don't want to talk about it, just showing that you're there will do a lot for them. So, yeah, that's a very big thing.
Good advice. I'm taking in advice too. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to my mom, of course, for being a really good mom, for being the best mom. And I know it's been hard, even though she's saying that I wasn't problematic as a kid. Of course, I'm still like, you know, a kid, and I definitely give her trouble.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful for her. I'm grateful for my dad for helping teach me and for being my dad, for being supportive, my brother for being there for me too, and for my grandma, my sisters, my whole family. Abby, Martha, thank you so much. Like she's like my sister. Like I've never had like, you know, my grandma. It's basically my message is like community. The family you have, community is so important, and I will always firmly believe that. Don't, especially people that think that they can do it on their own. Rely on your community. It's so important. And our community, our Ethiopian community is so beautiful.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful to God that I'm part of this community.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy that I can be an Ethiopian. Yeah, be a part of all that. So that's my message. Don't be ashamed of it.
Don't be ashamed of it.
Don't be ashamed.
Yes, we're proud of we're proud that we are Alashas. We're so proud of it. Yes. And community is so important, right? You do happen to have family here, but then the other part of your community comes from church, right? Your church community had a huge impact on you, I think you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to have this interview with me.
Thank you so much.
I wish you the best in your future endeavors. I know you're gonna keep breaking records and, you know, doing what you've been doing so far.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that means a
and
lot.
You're gonna keep amazing the Abisha community and your parents.
Thank you.
Yeah.